haven't already, go ahead and make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and check out my other videos, of course. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know this is going to be another Cheyenne featuring Jeremiah, my nephew, because he decided he is going to make himself comfortable in my bed watching TV. So if you hear any background noises or you hear his TV, that is him. Please ignore it. I will go ahead and try to cover it up the best I can. But yeah. Anyways, besides that, today is going to be all about creating this beautiful burnt orange wig. I feel like it's fall. It might not be the first day of fall yet, but in the Pacific Northwest, it is definitely fall, you guys. I have brought out my Uggs, my jacket. Why not do fall color hair? I did want to do a bright orange hair in the summer, and I just didn't I didn't get to do it. Well, I did it, but the hair quality just wasn't up to par, which was my last vendor I was using. I don't know if they changed it or what, but their hair quality started sucking. So of course I am looking for a new vendor. You guys go ahead and make sure you leave any comments or check out my other social medias, tag me in things, let me know about any good hair vendors out there. Like I said, I am on the look for a new hair vendor. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I just dyed this wig, created this wig, applied this wig, and everything like that. I will say that I finally filmed a video on me constructing a wig. However, it is going to be a separate video from this one because I didn't want the video to be too long. So go ahead and be on the lookout for when I upload the video on how to construct my wig. But I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys how I colored this, applied it, and everything like that. Let's go ahead and get started. So today I'm going to go ahead and work with the Ali Grace hair. I did go ahead and purchase this off of AliExpress. Like I said, this is Ali Grace. This is their 613 blonde. This is the Remy Brazilian straight hair. I did go ahead and purchase 3 bundles that are all 16 inches. Straight, very thick whips, very thick bundles. I was able to use all 3 to make a full wig that had a really good density on it. Like I said, this is a very nice quality. It took the color well. It did not damage. It didn't do anything weird. And after I let it air dry, it went ahead and it reverted back to its natural texture. So yeah, I will go ahead and make sure I put all the details down below in the description box so you guys can check that out. When it gets to the frontal, I also did go ahead and use Ali Grace frontal. This is a 14-inch frontal, 13x4. Once again, it's Ali Grace, so everything that the bundle did, it did with the frontal, took it very well. I was able to go ahead and use my spray on tan airbrush method to go ahead and blend this into my skin, seeing the fact that it is kind of white and light. So getting into the color, I'll be working with Adore color. I did the French Cognac 52, Cajun Spice 56, and Cinnamon 58. Like I mentioned, this will be a watercolor method. So I did go ahead, you want to start off with a big bucket of warm water. I went ahead and let my water boil, brought it to a boil, and then I dumped it into my bucket halfway. And then I did go ahead and add some cold water. You'll see later on that I did not use enough cold water because it was super hot and I had some problems getting my hair out. But yeah, make sure you add enough cold water, you guys, so you can go ahead and work with the hair while it's in the water. But I went ahead and I just took half a bottle of the French Cognac, half a bottle of the Cajun Spice, and I added that, and I literally took like maybe a teaspoon of the cinnamon to add a little darkness to it. I don't want to add too much because I didn't want it to be more of a brown, but more orange rather than brown. So just a little bit. And after you go ahead and stir that together, you're going to go ahead and dip that hair in there. As you can see, like I'm barely touching the water because it's so hot. But you're going to go ahead and dip that hair in there. That's just kind of what it looks like after the first dip, but I want it darker, so I'm going to let that sit in there. As you guys see, I just went ahead and I dropped it, and I'm just going to push it in and make sure it is completely covered with water so that color takes nicely and deep. Guys, when I say it's super hot, this water was scorching. So I'm going ahead and I'm taking it out inch by inch to make sure that I get it all nice and straight and I don't mess it up, but I also don't want to put my hands in there because, like I said, it is super hot. And I was kind of scared to go back in after I put the color in and add cold water, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to work with it. But it took the color really well, you guys. There was no tangles. Like I said, Ali Grace, very good for watercoloring hair, very good for when you do brush hair too. Takes the color really well, super simple. But yeah, after going ahead and dipping it and taking it out, you're gonna go ahead and take that brush or a comb just to comb it out and make sure there's no blonde streaks or anything like that, or no forgotten about hair. But also you just want to make sure that you comb it out and there's no tangles, so that when it air dries, it's going to air dry in its natural state rather than do some weird stuff and you have to worry about getting the color and everything back to it. Alright, so after doing the first bundle, I'm going to go ahead and repeat that process, constantly adding my half a bottle of French Cognac, half a bottle of Cajun Spice, and a little bit of cinnamon before I do each bundle. And I do this 3 times because of course there's 3 bundles. So yes, you go ahead, add the color, mix it in there, dip that hair, let it sit, create that color. 4 bottles of Cajun Spice, 4 bottles of French Cognac, and then 2 bottles of cinnamon because I didn't use it as much. I honestly didn't even need 2 bottles, but so moving into the frontal, I am not going to go ahead and watercolor this, but instead I'm going to use the color on brush method. To do this, I do start off by doing, of course you want to make sure you do not get any color on that lace. So I did go ahead and I made sure I sprayed my lace with my Got To Be Free spray and then let that dry before dyeing it. And then I'm going to go ahead and start with my roots. And I'm just going to do this very softly, of course, using a nice firm brush. And I'm going to go ahead and work that through the front first. I'm going to go ahead and part it now, and this is basically how I'm going to color the roots. I do my roots first before I dye the whole hair, and you guys will go ahead and see me doing that. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and take a brush and just color into my roots, and I'm going to keep parting all the way across, doing the same method, making sure I get my roots all, getting my roots first, which basically I'm just parting, doing my roots, dyeing it, combing it through with a rat tail comb, just because I like to make sure I get every inch of hair and there's no clumps of dye that can leak through and bleed through my lace. When it comes to the hair color I'm kind of basically using the same thing I did to watercolor method. I did go ahead and use half of French Cognac and then half of Cajun Spice, and I did use a tad bit more cinnamon on this so that my frontal is darker a little bit rather than, it is darker compared to the bundles, and it creates a little bit of dimension and color and different highlights in it that I like. So I did go ahead, like I said, and put more cinnamon into the frontal mixture when I am coloring it. But yeah, you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and finish dyeing this, and then I will show you guys how I finish up the wig. Alright, so finishing up coloring my frontal, I'm going to go ahead and apply this, and then of course let it sit for 4 hours. 4 hours is my minimum, and then 6 hours is my max. I used to do it overnight, but I realized that was just too much processing and it wasn't necessarily needed. I did it to keep the color from bleeding, but I also have found different products like the ion color sealer, which kind of locks in that color and stops it from bleeding. So I just leave it in for 4 hours, or maybe 6 if I need it. But this one only 4 hours because it is about 7 o'clock right now, and I am going to go to bed, so I'm going to leave it in until 11 o'clock, and then I will rinse it out. And just as I do with my bundles, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I'm going to go ahead and hang them all on skirt hangers. So I use skirt hangers, you guys, to hang them from the whips or from the little lace, to hang it and let it dry so that it dries into its proper state and proper texture rather than any other way. So if I just let it hang, it does that. With it being at night, I am going to go ahead and hang it in front of my window. I do have a fan going because it's still kind of hot at night in my room, so I do have a fan going, and then I let it air dry that. If not, I put it outside in the sun and I let it air dry that way. But I am always about letting my hair air dry, and then I just come in the next day after letting it air dry and blow dry it out. But you guys, so because I did do this in bundles and I still had to create the wig, my hair sat probably for about 1.5 days, and then I finally constructed the wig, and then I let that sit because I had to pluck it and everything like that. And then I came back on the 3rd day, and this is me basically just blow drying it out, getting it ready to go in there and flat iron and style it how I want. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and blow dry it out. You can also see right here the different dimensions from when I added that cinnamon more to sometimes, and more just when I added different colors and added more colors, something like that, which is what I like, especially with a gold orange burnt look like this. So I'm really liking all the different dimensions, and I'm really liking the color combination, how it went. So yeah, you guys, just go ahead, and I'm just gonna blow dry this out and then go in there and flat iron it. I know I've been wearing my hair in wand curls like every single style. I don't think you guys see me in any straight hair, so I decided I'm gonna go ahead and straighten this and keep it straight rather than doing any wand curls to wand it up and put curls in it. So yeah, you guys are gonna see me with a straight hairstyle. And of course, I have this bomb flat iron that I am just in love with. I do plan on doing a video later on where I am going to do a review on the flat iron that I have currently. But as for right now, you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and flat iron this out because, like I said, I always have curls, so why not try some flat hair on a color like this with so much cute dimension. So alright, so coming to the end of my flat iron, I'm just going to go ahead and move into the application process. I did go ahead and do my ball cap method off camera. If you want to go ahead and see, I'll put links down below to videos I did do my ball cap method. And I am going to go ahead and upload soon a new ball cap method that I just got into, you guys. So yeah, stay tuned for that, you guys. New videos coming very, very soon. But yeah, basically this is what I'm looking like, you guys. I did go ahead, like I said, and I used my self-tanning airbrush spray on legs from Hansen. I'll go ahead and put the details down below. I did go ahead and do that to kind of bleach in my knots per se, and kind of blend it into my scalp so that it does not have that white tint from the white lace, but rather it has more of a tan tint, the color of my skin, blending it in and creating a nice seal. So after applying it, I'm going to go ahead and just take some alcohol, wipe your skin. I don't know if I ever did this on video before, but before you apply your glue, you want to go ahead and wipe your forehead with alcohol. This basically removes all the oils or anything else on it that will cause your lace front not to stay for as long as it could. But when you go ahead and wipe that surface clean, you get a better hold and your lace and your wig will stay longer, which is what you want, of course. So of course you always want to make sure if your frontal is longer than your ears that you go ahead and trim it up to your ear and your hairline so it creates a nice blend. This is also good for if you want to wear a half up, half down look. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it to mold my ears and look natural before I go ahead and I apply it and glue it. Alright, so after trimming your ears up, you can go ahead and put that flap up, and then you're going to go ahead and apply your glue. I'm going to use Ghost Bond glue, you guys. I am trying this thing where I wear my wigs for longer than a week, so I'm going to apply some Ghost Bond glue in a very good method. That way it can stay on longer. My friend actually pointed out that I do not wear my wigs that long. I just like change, so I like to change it up a lot, but I'm going to try to go ahead and wear this wig for longer than a week, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and apply a couple layers of this Ghost Bond glue. And of course, I'm going to go on top of it with my Got to Be Free spray. This just creates a tight hold for my lace and allows me to keep my wig on longer rather than removing it or even having to do that mini touch-up. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and apply this Got to Be this Ghost Bond glue, let it go ahead and dry a little bit, become clear, and I'm going to spray my Got to Be Free spray right over it, and then do this a couple of times, a couple of layers, like I said, to create a nice thick hold. So I do make sure I keep wiping my forehead so that that glue does not get everywhere, making sure everything's clean, you guys. You're always going to keep everything clean, especially when working with glue, so that is a nice, easy, soft, quick apply. You don't have much to worry about, anything like that, you guys. You will see when I cut my first side that there was a lot of excess glue that I did not catch, so it was kind of hard for me to cut this first side. But yeah, you want to make sure that when you're doing this, keep your forehead and everything, try to keep glue limited to getting places so that you don't have the problem that I have, and you're going to see in a minute, the problem I have when I'm cutting my lace and there's excess glue making it kind of hard to cut a nice clean line. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead, after I let that dry and become clear, I'm going to go ahead and apply that. I did not use a blow dryer when letting it. I straight up let that dry on its own, which you can see it's way better. It does not create any white residue. It's no excess glue. It kind of just blends perfectly like that. Just blend it perfectly into my scalp because I let it properly dry. So yeah, make sure you let your glue properly dry to avoid any white residue, any of those residue lines you might see of the glue and stuff like that. So after applying it, this part I do go ahead and use a blow dryer just to make sure it is nice and tight down. This does not create white residue if you do it this way. As long as you make sure the glue turns clear first, you don't have to worry about all that white residue that's going to show up if you did not let the glue turn clear first. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and blow dry that down, making sure it has a nice thick hold before I go in there and I cut. I always want to make sure my lace is nice and held down, you guys, before I go in there and I cut everything like that. But anyways, you guys, you're about to see what I talk about when I say that cutting your lace, you kind of run into a problem if you do. But yeah, you run into a problem if you do not properly remove all the excess glue or just properly place down your wig so that it's lined up with the glue. So like when I go in to start cutting it, basically I have trouble cutting it because the glue, I plan to place the glue on the wrong, I don't know how to explain it, you guys. So I basically kind of placed the glue, I placed the glue where I placed it, but I did not pull my lace front farther enough up so that it covers the whole entire glue. So therefore I had a little trouble making sure I can get in there and get an even line and everything. And people use a little eyebrow cutter. I tried it a couple of times. As you guys see, it does not work for me, so I like to use scissors. But you guys, like I said, I am all about cutting my lace off my head and then applying it, but I'm trying to cut it on my head so you guys can see the full effect of it. But yeah, you guys are about to see what I'm talking about when I'm just about to say, you guys, like, if you have that excess glue, it becomes difficult. But yeah, anyways, you just want to go in there, cut that, trim it up, trim it as close to the hairline as you possibly can, and then I will go ahead and add baby hairs and just make it look better. Just make it like a real hairline, make it look natural. Alright guys, so after laying down my baby hairs and everything like that, I'm just going to flat iron my hair. Anyways, you just want to go ahead and flat iron your hair, and then you're going to lay that down. If you guys can kind of see, I still need to do a little more blending with my foundation to really blend in those sides. So basically what I got to do right now is I'm going to lay it down so that that lace becomes as melted as possible, and then I'm going to go back in after my glue has already dried. You want to make sure your glue is already dried. If you just apply on wet glue, you're going to have a mess. Your foundation is going to start clumping and all this other stuff. So you want to make sure your hair is completely dry before you do this. But I didn't do it on camera, but basically you're going to, after you let that hair lay down with that your little black wrap thing that you have. These are, what are these things called? I don't even know what they're called. But you know, the black tissue papers, you're going to go ahead and put that across your baby hairs, lay that down, let that lace begin to melt as good as possible. And then basically I let it sit for like 45 minutes. So I finished doing my friend's hair, I clean up, everything like that, and then I come back in, finish getting dressed, come back in, and I'm going to remove that, and you guys will see what I mean. But like I said, I did film me putting the foundation on after, off camera, so I'll be sure I'll do that in my next video so I can show you guys the foundation and everything I use. I'll still put those details down below, but I'll do another video actually showing me doing it. But basically you're going to go ahead and take that foundation and just blend in those parts of your hair that's not blended exactly as well as you want it to be. So coming to the end of this look, you guys, I am going to go ahead and I took off that tissue paper. I went ahead and made sure it was nice and dry and blended. And then I went ahead and took that foundation and just went over that to blend it as much as I can. This is a really nice quality hair. It took the color really well. It went back to its natural texture really well. So definitely recommend ALIEXPRES. But yeah, this is a nice welcoming fall look. Go ahead and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and then check out my other videos.